Show him your father's painting.
Yo, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Miles Brown. Don't forget to get some of that Kiligo merch. Appreciate you so much every time you purchase something off of there. It helps edify and keep me going to bring you this content. Today's topic, I'm going to jump right in, is marriage is like a strategy game. I thought this was a cool way to put it for a lot of my young dudes because it can help frame your mind as to what you're getting yourself into. And understanding that when you play a game, you're playing the game, a strategy game in particular, you want to think a bunch of steps ahead of your enemy. And in this game of marriage, it's very, very, very important for you to understand how to outthink the enemy. So, number one, understand that you and your spouse are on the same team. It's you two against the world. The enemy is the world. The enemy in my marriage is society, media, friends, family, anybody who is going to sow, even in good intentions, seeds of destruction, disobedience, non-submission. Anyone who is going to push their narrative above the narrative of me and my wife staying together and progressing. And I think it's very important to understand that at the end of the day, you can be upset with your spouse, but you guys are on the same team. And this strategy game does not end. It's a lifelong commitment, especially if you believe in Christ. We're not playing for a season or a couple of years and then we retire. We're playing for the gusto. You picked a partner that you're supposed to take all the way till death do you part. And that's the way that this game is played, and played right and played well. This is not to come down on people who get divorced. God hates divorce, but under certain circumstances, like infidelity, he has made provisions for that. And that's when your partner says, look, I want to take myself out the game. Hey, we can't stop that. But if you are two willing participants, it's best to figure out your strategy in marriage. And I think the first thing is realizing that you two are not against each other. You two are in this thing to win. And winning is having a beautiful family, having a marriage that is worth emulating, and really just bringing edification to your community, your neighborhood, and being an example of God's relationship with the church. Number two, identify the enemy. They can be your friends, like I said, they can be your family, your parents, your cousins, your co-workers. These people can have the best intentions in the world, but you need to identify how you feel and understand that certain people you talk to, especially if they are not married themselves or if they have a marriage that sucks and is not something you're looking to emulate, you do not take advice from people who are single. You do not take advice from people that are in bad marriages. Look and search out for mentors, people you can truly trust with information, that are married, that have a good relationship. Thoroughly find out if they have an actual good relationship before you take advice from these people. And understand that even though your friends that you had when you were single can give some good advice here and there, I'm not saying that they never will give you good advice, but understand that it's much better to get advice from people who have been through what you're going through and have a real point of reference to help assist you to the next level and the next goal in life. Number 3, you're only as strong as your weakest player. It's very good to identify who's weak and who's strong and what areas, because just like in video games, like a Monopoly or any type of game where money is involved, finances, just like in marriage, finances is a huge part of why a lot of people break up. And a lot of times it's because one person is very, very good at finances and the other person isn't. And the person that isn't does not understand that they're weak in this area and that their whole life will function a lot better. Maybe they don't get everything they want instantly, but the whole of their life will move into a direction where it could be abundance later in life, because there are some situations and places and things that you're not going to go to for the greater good of the finances, that one partner in that part of the game of marriage, they got the finances, they understand, let them have that. Then understand who's weak. Some things to understand who's weak. Who's weak at communication? If you know your partner is weak at communication, you have to work with them. You have to take your time with them. You have to understand you're not dealing with someone who's as strong in that area as you are. And a lot of times as men are not the greatest communicators of their emotional state. Women normally are. I'm not going to say in every situation it's the same. Me and my wife, I'm more of a communicator when it comes to my emotions than she is. She was more blocked off on talking about certain things because there was like a bunch of baggages that she had going on in her life that helped block communication skills. But with me, I could communicate my emotions, but the problem was I didn't have a filter. I would just go. And that was a weakness. So I think it's very important that in this strategy game of marriage and this very serious situation where a lot is on the line, it's imperative to understand each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses if you're going to get far in this game. And number 4, communication is key to how fast you progress to the next level in your marriage. Just like in strengths and weaknesses, you can't play a good game of anything without having communication between two people that have a singular goal that they're both are working hard towards. The one thing about communication that I feel like is very hard to identify in a marriage is it's this place in marriage that you'll get to where you've heard each other's stories. You're not necessarily entertaining to each other. We've heard everything. We feel like we know everything we can know about a person. We feel like we know them better than they know themselves. And yet, this person is still growing. This person is still interacting with life, but they may have gotten to a point where no matter what they say to you, they feel like they already know what you're about to say or what you're about to do or how you're going to react. And I think one of the main things in communication that benefited me and my wife is just stopping and understanding that everybody hits a plateau. And while somebody's plateauing, another person might be growing. And having these times where we check back in with each other to see what's going on. Where are you in life? And not just having some ambiguous, we're just going to check in. Have a structured time on when y'all talk, when y'all go over finances, when y'all go over the kids and their schedules, when y'all go over how the free time together is going to be divvied up, because you don't want to be the person who's every single weekend you making it the weekends are tougher to get through than a week because you done stacked up 30, 40, 50 different itineraries to do, and this man done worked all week or this woman done worked all week, but now y'all want to go out and have it up all over the place. Or the simple communication of, you don't even romance me no more. Like, we're not dating anymore. We're just partners stuck in limbo. And that's a communication issue where one partner doesn't feel like the other partner is caring about the relationship. It's more become just this partnership. There's no love. There's no romance. A lot of times men fall into that category. But I've seen women who are very career oriented fall into that category as well. So keeping the communication flowing, keeping the communication open, I feel like it's ideal to leveling up in your marriage and taking things to the next level is keeping that constant flow of communication going, because without it, y'all gonna lose straight up. And you might not lose the marriage, but you'll lose a lot of time. You'll lose a lot of progress. You'll lose a lot of things that just aren't simply tangible. You know, they're like these things you don't even realize they're gone until 10, 15 years. You're like, dang, we could have just talked about this. You know, I could have been and maybe been a little bit in this area, or she could have been a little bit in that area. But the communication was so dead that you just suffering through, you know. And my fifth tip to help you win this game of marriage is never compare your game and how you play to anyone else's. Comparison will rob you of the joy of just how fun it is to play the game. You know, never lose the perspective and understanding that you may look over at somebody's marriage and get inspired, but you may also look over at somebody's marriage and become envious and jealous. But you never ever really know how that marriage really is. They could have all of the beautiful materialistic things going for themselves. They could have the beauty, the body going for themselves, but it could be a tumultuous situation in the house. You know, it could be a toxic environment for the kids. It could be a situation where people look up to these people just for how they portray themselves out in public, but they hate each other when they get home. And it's constant arguing and bickering, you know, and it makes you not really respect the peace and tranquility that you may come home to, even though your home might be a little smaller, or your car might not be as nice, or the vacations that you take may be on a budget. You know, you may have more fun with your mate being, I would say, broke than some people have being rich and still can't enjoy everything that they have. So those are my tips on really just staying focused and understanding that marriage is like a strategy game. It does not end, and we play for keeps in marriage. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Support the merch, Kiligo.store. Buy a little something. Support the initiative we got going on over here. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, And until next time, I'm out. Peace.